Okay, so I bought a Sunny Hilton Fitness spin bike, and it came in and had this sound in the flywheel. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do today to fix that. Let me see if I can make it make the sound. Okay, that's the sound, and you can feel it in the handlebars every time it's making that sound. It's gotten better. I rode it for quite a while waiting on the parts to come in, but what has happened is the axle has gotten bent, and in doing so it damages the bearings. It makes flat spots on the inside of the ball bearings. They're sealed bearings, so when the shipper or whoever drops this thing, the weight of this 49-pound flywheel comes down on the bearings and it makes flat spots. It bends the axle too. The axle is actually bent, but it's not the problem of the noise, it's the bearings. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to change that today. So I emailed them and told them the trouble I was having, and they sent me a troubleshooting email telling me what to do. And I ended up taking the whole flywheel off and removing the axle, seeing that the axle was bent, and knowing that the sound was coming from the bearings in the flywheel. So they sent me a pack of 6 bearings. It only takes 3 for the flywheel, but they sent me extra, I guess, because of the trouble I was having. And this is the axle. That they sent me to replace my bent one. I am certain I could put the new bearings on the bent axle and the flywheel here, and the sound and the vibration I'm feeling would be gone, because the axle's not moving, the bearing's moving around the axle. But the process of bending the axle by putting that much pressure on the bearings, that is what causes the vibration and the noise, because every time these roll around, they click, 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 because they got flat places on the ball bearings inside these sealed bearings. So first thing, we're going to take the belt cover off. I do that with a Phillips head screwdriver. So there's a screw here, there's 2 screws here, one here, one here, there's 2 screws here, there's all the rest of the screws are probably on the back side. Yes, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here, and 1 screw there. I'll come back when I have those off. Okay, so here's my 9 small screws that holds the belt cover over the belt, and that's the 2 bigger screws. First thing you're going to do is remove this piece right here. And then this belt cover should come off. I'll set this camera down so I can get down on it a little bit. There's the belt cover off. And now we've got to get this belt off. And the way we do that is we're going to loosen these nuts on either side. And then we're going to take these 2 nuts all the way off so we can slide it back. We're not wanting to tighten it or adjust it. We want to get this flywheel all the way off. 18mm socket. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off because it's gonna have to come off, change the axle anyway. This one's bigger. I believe it's gonna be a 19. Yes, it's a 19. This one has the nut and a washer. The other one just has a nut. Now let's take both of those off. I believe that will be a 13. Yes, 13mm on that one. Okay, now that one's off. Now we can get the belt off the flywheel, well, off of the drivetrain back here. Okay, take that off. So now all we have to do is remove the brake. It's going to be 10mm. Take out those two screws right there. I don't know if I'm missing a washer or if they're all like this, but that first bolt I just took out did not have a washer on the back side here. This one does. You can see it fall down right there. So I don't know, it leaves a gap. Okay, now the flywheel's ready to come off. So I'm gonna put my mat, because I don't want to knock any paint off my right up here. I do like it, it does a good job. And that's the flywheel removed. So let's take those off. And now I need to take, right there is hand tight. It has a washer, like a spring-loaded washer behind it. Make sure you keep all your parts in the order they came off. There's that spring-loaded washer I was talking about. Spacer. And the axle should come right out. If it don't, and yours is bent more than mine, you'll have to beat it out. I have seen YouTube videos with that as well. I have to keep these pieces here because I have to reuse those. So the threads are a little bit damaged on this one end, and just got a socket holding it with some needle nose pliers, just what I have available. It don't take any more than that. And the bad spot's created from where it sits on the threads right there, supporting that flywheel. But as you say, it comes off just like that. Now let's go look at this axle. Got some cash. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can hear it. That side's straight. That side's bent. The axle's not what's causing the sound, the sound from the bearings. So let's go see if we can figure out how to get these bearings out. So there's a single side, it's got one bearing in it, and then this side's got two bearings in it. I want to try to get the single side out first. I've got to find something that I can get through the inside. Okay, I'm using an extension that fits. So what I want to do is I'm going to run this extension through from the other side, and I'm going to tap and knock that bearing out. Well, that's the plan anyway. Is it coming? Okay, it was definitely in there more than I thought it would have been. It's got Loctite on it. So anyway, here's bearing number 1. It was definitely Loctited in. Let's see if I can feel it. That bearing's fine. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to use the axle and this anchor nut. I'm going to beat it out. I need to go get a hammer. Alright, I'm back. I found the hammer. I've got to get this bolt the rest of the way in. I'm going to try to use this to knock that thing out with. Okay, they're coming out. I'm going to show you. One of them's already out. Alright, so all the bearings are out. There's 2 on this side and 1 on the other side. 1, 2. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. So, take an old bearing, set on top of it. That way, you're beating the race instead of the bearing. This is another new bearing, old bearing. You can tell when they seat fully. Feels good. Okay, let's do the other side. New bearing. Old bearing. believe that's it. Time for the new axle. So this goes in. Well, there we go. Spacer, spring-loaded washer. So I don't know if you saw that. Got spacer, spring-loaded washer, and then the nut. Then on this other side we have a regular washer. And a nut. With this side loose, run this side down as far as it'll go, hand tight. That's the way you get the spacing right. And then run this side down, also hand tight. And when you do that, you should have roughly the same amount of threads sticking out on either side. This one can only go down so far. So we're ready to go back on the spin bike with it. We have to put these things on the threads to go. See how it's kind of offset? Threads go to the inside of the wheel, like that. Same thing with this other one. And we can't forget to put the belt on as the wheel is going on. Let me get that from this other side. Now let's put the belt all the way on. And we got to get these back in the holes. Back in these holes in the front right here. Just like that. One. I guess I had you plumb out of frame on that. I'll show you the second one. Get a little more room here. Okay. From what I've learned, this has to be pretty tight. Let me get my ratchet. Try to keep these the same length. So now we can go ahead and put the brake back on. This one right here on the back, I don't know if yours is like that or not. Mine has a washer on the bottom side and on the top side. This one only has one on the bottom side. I think it's missing a washer, but don't know. It works fine. Don't come out though. The nuts on the axle itself now. 1, 10, both sides of 19. These little tabs push in some strategically placed holes. Now we just need to bolt it back up. So I've got it all put back together. I haven't test ridden it yet. The camera's going to find out if it fixed it or not as soon as I know. So let's just see if it works. Not a sound at all. Let me get it back at the same angle I had it when I first done it. Perfect. This axle is bent, but these round bearings that roll around the axle, they don't care if the axle's bent or not. The bent axle is not actually what's causing the sound. The axle is not rotating. It's locked in right here with this nut. It don't spin. The bearing rolls around the axle. And the sound that I believe most people's hearing that has the flywheel noise is the flat spots on the ball bearings inside this sealed case right here. Because when that weight of that flywheel during shipping gets dropped, the tops of these bearings on the top side, that's where the weight's going to hit. It's going to make flat bearings on that side, and the rest of them from here around are going to be perfectly round. And every time it rolls over that flat spot, it's going to go rump. It's going to make a sound every time it goes around it. So you can find the part number on these bearings. It is I'm looking for it right here, 6202 RZ. That is a part for the bearing. You can go to your local fastenal shop and order these bearings and put them in yourself without having to go through Sunny. But they was very fast to ship them out to me and get everything to my house so I could get it in working order, and I have to say it is flawless now. I like the bike. It is solid, it's heavy. I've got my pads a little bit off right now, but the sound is completely gone. It is perfectly smooth, no more vibration in the handlebars, and I hope this helps if you want to work on your own and get it fixed. This is a really good bike. spin back, I must say. For the money, this is a $300 one. It's a belt driven one. Has a 49-pound flywheel. I can't remember the exact part number on it right now, but anyway, hope this helps.